Failure is not what people think it is. It's not falling down, it's not making mistakes, and it's certainly not facing rejection. Failure is only when you decide to stop trying. Every person who has achieved anything meaningful in life has faced setbacks, challenges, and obstacles that seemed impossible to overcome. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is one simple thing: persistence. Think about it. When a child learns to walk, they don't succeed on their first try. They stumble, they fall, and sometimes they even cry. But do they stop? No, they get up again and again until one day they take those first steps. That's the spirit we are born with, yet somewhere along the way we start fearing failure. We let it define us instead of using it as a stepping stone. The world is full of examples of people who faced defeat, who were told they weren't good enough, who were laughed at when they dared to dream big, but they refused to accept failure as the end of their journey. There are athletes who lost again and again before becoming champions, entrepreneurs who went bankrupt before building empires, and leaders who were knocked down by opposition but stood up stronger every single time. Their stories prove one thing: setbacks are temporary, but giving up makes them permanent. There will always be moments when things don't go as planned. You will work hard for something and still not achieve it. You will give your best and still fall short. In those moments, doubt will creep in, whispering that maybe it's not worth it, that maybe you should quit. But that is the defining moment, because if you choose to rise instead of surrender, you haven't lost. In fact, you are still in the fight. History has shown that the greatest victories come right after the toughest battles. Just because the road is difficult doesn't mean you are on the wrong path. In fact, difficulty often means you are exactly where you need to be. Every obstacle, every challenge, every failure is shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for something bigger. But if you walk away, if you quit, you will never know how close you were to success. You see, life doesn't reward those who give up. It rewards those who persist, who refuse to accept defeat, who learn from every fall and come back stronger. Even when no one believes in them, even when the world tells them it's over, they keep going. That is the mindset that creates history. That is the attitude that changes lives. So, the next time you face failure, don't ask yourself, why me? Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Because every setback carries a lesson, and every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. It is never about how many times you fall. It is only about how many times you rise. And as long as you keep getting back up, you haven't lost. Success is never handed to anyone. It is earned through resilience, through the ability to keep standing when everything seems to be falling apart. No one in history has ever achieved greatness without facing struggles, without being tested, without experiencing failure. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, not luck, but the determination to never back down. When you look at the lives of those who have achieved extraordinary things, you will see a common pattern. They faced rejection, they faced opposition, they were knocked down time and time again. But they refused to stay down. They refused to accept that their failures defined them. Instead, they used every setback as fuel, every criticism as motivation, and every defeat as a lesson. That is the power of resilience. Take any great athlete, any visionary leader, any revolutionary thinker, you will find a story of struggle behind their success. They were not born great, they built themselves through perseverance. Look at the scientists who changed the world. How many times did they fail before discovering something that changed humanity? How many times were they told their ideas were impossible? But they kept going because they understood one thing: failure is only final if you allow it to be. There will always be challenges in life. There will be moments when you feel exhausted, when you question yourself, when you wonder if it's even worth it. And in those moments, giving up will seem like the easiest option. That is the real test. That is the moment when resilience separates the winners from the quitters. Because the truth is, success doesn't come to those who never fail. It comes to those who never quit. Every struggle you face is shaping you. Every obstacle is making you stronger. The tough times are not there to break you, they are there to prepare you. If you look at the hardest moments of your life, you will see that they made you who you are today. You learned, you adapted, you grew. And that is exactly why resilience matters. Because no matter how difficult things get, as long as you keep going, you are still on the path to victory. Some people will tell you to be realistic, to accept things as they are, to not fight too hard. But history has never been made by those who played it safe. It has been made by those who refused to bow down, who refused to accept defeat, who stood their ground no matter how tough things got. That is the mindset that changes the course of nations. That is the mindset that builds legends. So when you face obstacles, when life tests you, remember, this is not the end. This is only a chapter in your story. The people who doubt you today will be the ones who admire you tomorrow. But that will only happen if you refuse to give up. No struggle is greater than the strength of a determined mind. And as long as you have the will to fight, no force in the world can stop you. The way you see challenges determines whether you rise above them or let them defeat you. Some people look at obstacles and see a dead end. Others look at the same obstacles and see an opportunity to grow. That is the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not about intelligence, resources, or luck. It's about mindset. A person who believes they can improve, who sees every challenge as a lesson, who refuses to be defined by failure, is the one who eventually wins. Life does not move in a straight line. It is full of ups and downs, victories and defeats, moments of glory and moments of struggle. But the people who go the farthest are the ones who understand that every setback is temporary. Instead of feeling discouraged, they ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? How can I come back stronger? This is called a growth mindset. The belief that your abilities, your intelligence, your strength can all be developed through effort and perseverance. And once you develop this mindset, no failure can ever break you. Look at the people who changed the world, the ones who left their mark on history. Were they always successful? No. They faced failures so big that most people would have given up. But instead of thinking, this is the end, they thought, this is part of the journey. They analyzed their mistakes, they adapted, and they tried again. That is why they succeeded where others gave up. On the other hand, there are people who believe that success is only for the lucky ones, that failure is proof they are not good enough. The moment they face difficulty, they assume they are not capable and they quit. But the truth is, no one is born with all the answers. No one is naturally great at everything. It is through persistence, learning, and adaptation that people become successful. Every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once a student. Every strong leader was once struggling to find their way. The problem is that most people fear failure so much that they never even try. They see mistakes as a sign of weakness instead of a step toward growth. But real weakness is not in making mistakes, it is in refusing to learn from them. If you are too afraid to fail, you will never take the risks needed to succeed. If you avoid challenges, you will never know your true potential. That is why having a growth mindset is so powerful. It pushes you forward when others stop. Think of the most difficult moments in your life, the times you felt lost or defeated. Now ask yourself, did those moments destroy me or did they make me stronger? If you are here today, it means you overcame them. It means you learned something, even if you didn't realize it at the time. That is growth. And if you could do it then, you can do it now. You are stronger than you think, but you will only realize it if you keep going. No one succeeds overnight. No one gets everything right the first time. But if you believe that your abilities can improve, if you believe that every failure is just another lesson, then nothing can stop you. You will not be afraid of obstacles. You will welcome them. knowing that they are making you stronger. You will not fear failure. You will see it as a teacher, and you will never give up because you will know that every setback is just a setup for a greater comeback. As long as you are willing to learn, adapt, and grow, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Fear and doubt are the biggest barriers to success. They creep into your mind, whispering that you're not strong enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. They make you hesitate, second guess yourself, and sometimes even walk away from your dreams. But the truth is, every person who has ever achieved something great has felt fear. Every leader, every champion, every pioneer has faced doubt. The difference is, they did not let it stop them. They move forward despite it. The problem is not fear itself, it is what you do with it. Fear can either paralyze you or push you to grow. It can be an excuse to quit or a reason to fight harder. The moment you let fear control you, you have already lost. But when you stand up to it, when you refuse to let doubt dictate your actions, you take back your power. Because fear is only as strong as you allow it to be. Most people fail before they even start, not because they are not capable, but because they convince themselves they can't do it. They look at a challenge and think, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I am not good enough? But what they should be asking is, what if I succeed? What if this challenge is exactly what I need to become stronger? What if I am capable of more than I ever imagined? Every person who has ever made history had moments of doubt. They faced rejection, criticism, and obstacles that seemed impossible, but they did not let those doubts control their actions. They knew that courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to keep going despite it. They understood that fear is temporary, but regret lasts forever. Because the only thing worse than failing is looking back and wondering, what if I had tried? Some people spend their whole lives playing it safe, avoiding risks, and staying in their comfort zones. But comfort zones do not create champions. They do not build strong leaders. They do not change the world. Growth only happens when you step beyond what feels safe and familiar. Every time you push yourself past your fears, you become stronger. Every time you refuse to give in to doubt, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Think about the moments in your life when you achieved something you once thought was impossible. Maybe it was standing up for yourself when you were afraid. Maybe it was working hard for something no one believed you could achieve. In that moment, you silenced doubt. You showed yourself what you're made of, and that same strength is still within you. Fear will always exist. Doubt will always try to hold you back, but you must never let them define your decisions. You must train your mind to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to rise. Because once you stop letting fear control you, nothing can stand in your way. Greatness is not reserved for the fearless. It is built by those who face their fears and move forward anyway. Belief is everything. If you do not believe in yourself, no one else will. If you do not have faith in your own strength, no amount of talent, opportunity, or luck will matter. The truth is, the world will always test you. People will doubt you. Challenges will arise, and there will be times when everything seems to be working against you. In those moments, the only thing that will keep you going is the belief that you are capable of overcoming anything. The greatest achievements in history were not made by people who had it easy. They were made by people who stood firm when others gave up. What gave them that strength? It was not just skill or intelligence. It was the unshakable belief that they had a purpose, that they were meant to achieve something greater, and that no failure, no setback, no obstacle could stop them. This is the kind of belief that separates those who succeed from those who quit. But belief alone is not enough. You must also surround yourself with people who uplift you, who remind you of your strength when you begin to doubt yourself. The people you choose to be around have a direct impact on your mindset. If you surround yourself with those who constantly criticize, who always find reasons why something won't work instead of why it can, you will start to absorb that negativity. You will begin to limit yourself, not because you are incapable, but because you have allowed others to plant doubt in your mind. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with those who encourage you, who remind you of your potential, who push you to be better, you will find that even the toughest challenges become easier to face. You will gain strength from those who believe in you. That is why choosing the right people is so important. You need people in your life who fuel your fire, not those who try to put it out. But even if no one stands with you, even if the entire world doubts you, your own belief must remain unshaken. Because at the end of the day, it is you who must walk your path. It is you who must face the challenges, take the risks, and fight the battles. No one else can do it for you. And if you allow doubt to creep into your heart, if you start believing the voices that tell you that you cannot succeed, then you will have lost before you even begin. You must train your mind to be stronger than your fears. You must remind yourself that no matter how difficult things get, you are capable of enduring, of fighting, of winning. There will be times when everything feels impossible, when it seems like the world is against you. But in those moments, you must remember that every great success story is built on perseverance. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never face hardship. They are those who refuse to surrender to it. Believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Believe in your dreams, even when others call them impossible. Because history is not made by those who doubt. It is made by those who dare to believe. The journey to success is never easy. It is full of obstacles, disappointments, and moments where you feel like giving up. But the truth is, as long as you keep moving forward, you have not lost. No matter how slow the progress, no matter how many times you fall, the only thing that matters is that you do not stop. Because the moment you give up, that is when you truly fail. Life is a test of patience and persistence. It does not reward those who quit at the first sign of struggle. It rewards those who keep pushing even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Every great success story is built on perseverance. No one reaches the top without experiencing failure. No one achieves their dreams without facing moments of doubt. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. One keeps going and the other gives up. There will always be moments when it feels like nothing is working in your favor. You will put in the effort, make sacrifices, and still face setbacks. You will feel tired, frustrated, and wonder if it is even worth it. But that is when you need to remind yourself why you started in the first place. That is when you need to find the strength to take one more step, to push forward just a little longer. Because you never know how close you are to your breakthrough. Too often, people quit just before they succeed. They walk away when they are only inches away from victory because they cannot see how close they are. They let temporary failures convince them that their dreams are impossible. But nothing is impossible for the one who refuses to stop trying. If you keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey, you will find a way. But if you stop, if you walk away, then you have guaranteed failure. The world does not belong to those who never struggle. It belongs to those who never give up. It belongs to those who understand that setbacks are a part of the process, that every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every time you push through difficulty, you are proving to yourself and to the world that you are not someone who gives up easily. You are not someone who accepts defeat. You are someone who fights until the very end. People will tell you to quit. They will say it is impossible, that you are wasting your time. But history has never been made by those who listen to doubt. It has been made by those who silence the noise, who trust in their journey, and who keep moving forward no matter what stands in their way. You must be one of those people. You must be willing to take one more step when everything in you says to stop, because that is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. It does not matter how many times you fall. It does not matter how many times you fail. As long as you keep going, as long as you refuse to quit, you are still in the fight. And in the end, the ones who never stop moving forward are the ones who change the world.